Alright, I am back with the next section of the bracket challenge here, my NHL predictions. It is just before the second round starts. It starts about 2 hours from now. It is April 30th. And as you can see my bracket here, got 53 points in the first round. I'm not really sure how they give out points. I'm assuming it's on games and the right teams. Anyways, you can see my rank and my percentile. And see what I did right and wrong, obviously. So just the first round. Picked the right amount of games for this series, but wrong team. Underdog seemed like they could win that one, but obviously they didn't. Canadians won that. Some stuff that happened in that series that, it could have looked like it could have gone the other way had the luck been on their side, I guess. And then with the Lightning series, I totally thought that they were going to dominate. That's not the case. The Red Wings easily could have taken that series from them. So I got the right team, wrong amount of games, but that's okay. Their goalie, I should say, played much better than I was thinking he would. As a rookie who hadn't played very well, I didn't think that would go very well for them, but it did. Disappointed in Stamkos for that one. Johnson was the real hero. Then for the Rangers, I thought that they would sweep for sure, considering Penguins' injuries and whatnot. I really thought that they would sweep, but winning in 5 games for them really wasn't as close as it sounds. All those games were 1-game differences, and a couple of those games easily could have gone to Penguins, so maybe I lucked out with getting only off by 1, maybe not. And I think this series was one of the hardest ones to pick for me. I thought for sure that the Islanders were going to at least make it to the second round, and they didn't. I did think it would go to 7 games for sure. I thought it would be a super close series and that either team could win. And obviously that was the case. They went to 7 games, and it was, I believe, a 1-goal game, at least for most of the game until the third, I think, off the top of my head. I think 60% of people picked the Capitals to move on. So I guess if you're going to pick an upset, I guess that was the one. And then over to the West, picked the Wild, picked the right team. I thought that they'd do it in 7. I thought the Blues would play a little better than that. Hate to blame the coach on this one, but I think that Coach made the wrong call. I don't think Allen was the right choice. Most Blues fans would probably disagree with me, but he didn't play like he deserved it, I guess. I mean, he didn't play bad, but got to play way better than that in the Stanley Cup. And then Blackhawks proved me right. I think just about everybody picked them. Let's see. For the Blackhawks, 75% of people picked the Blackhawks to win, and 36.2% of them picked 6 games. So that was probably the most correct series for everybody. And then onto this side here, the Ducks won just like I said they would. They actually sweeped, which is better than I said. I thought the Jets would win one, and after the series went, it's just like the Penguins and Rangers series. A lot of those games were a lot closer than it looks on paper. A lot of those games were overtime games. Same thing with the Senators and Canadians as well. A bunch of those were overtime games. But the Jets definitely could have taken a couple games. They just didn't have luck on their side, I guess. Some bad penalties really cost them. And I got nothing else to say there. Picked the wrong team, wrong amount of games. This was not a good selection for me. I totally thought that the Canucks had more experience and that would help them, and that they would win. Thought it would be close because Calgary has been on the rise here, but still fairly close series. A lot of those games were really close, at least until the third period, when the Flames came back and won most of those, or some of them, 2 or 3, I think. So that one was probably my worst selection, I would say. Maybe the Senators and Canadiens. One of those two were my worst picks. But I got I got 5 out of the 8 selections right. I don't know why it took me so long to think of that. But I got 5 of the right team, and the other 3, I mean, one was Game 7, went to the wire, and then the other 2 were just wrong. Maybe close, sort of, kind of. Maybe the right games, but wrong. And then I got a lot of the right games for some of them here. Right one, right games. Got the right amount of games for this series. No, not really. Only 2 of them. But that, 3. So I got the right amount of games for 3 of them. Yeah, 3 of them. So realistically, the only series I really guessed perfect was Blackhawks and Predators. And considering most people did guess that, or a lot of people did, that one isn't a huge surprise, but that one wasn't too bad. Wish that would have gone a little better, but 5 for 8 on the right team, I think, is the important part, and what I'm going to take away from that. At the end of my last video, I threw my dad's bracket up there as well, where I talked about it, and we picked a lot of the same things in the East. We picked all the same, except for he said the Rangers in 5, so he beat me on that one. He got the right game. We both got the right team, but he got the right game. I was off by 1. Big whoop. And in the West, he said the Blues in 7. Wrong team, wrong amount of games. Not a very good one for him. He was right dead on with the Hawks as well. And probably his worst selection, he picked the Jets in 7. And in reality, they got swept. So that was his worst one. But a couple of those games could have been stolen pretty easily by the Jets. It just didn't happen. And then he picked the Flames in 7, and they won in 6. So that one's actually pretty close for him. And he picked 4 of the right teams. So he went 4 for 8 on the right teams. He got more of the right amount of games on his, but I had more right teams. And then what else did I talk about? One other thing. Oh, Stanley Cup predictions. The NHL, or at least their website, released the top Stanley Cup prediction, like teams. So the top 3 teams picked were the Rangers with 26.16%, Hawks with 13.70%, and the Canadiens with 13.16%. I can't really imagine 13.16% of people picking the Canadiens to win, considering Carey Price is the only guy on that team that's trying. But maybe people did, or maybe a lot of Canadiens fans were voting. I don't know. I think that one's just a little off. The highest selected team was actually the 4th team, which was the Blues at 9.57%. They are out already, and they were number 4 in predictions there. Now, I think kind of the most interesting part of it was that my team that I picked and that my dad picked, the Lightning, were the 6th highest selected team at 5.23%. And once you get past the 8th picked Capitals, you get 9 Wings, 10 Canucks, 11 Predators, 12 Penguins, 13 Senators, 14 Islanders, 15 Jets, and 16 Flames. And from 9 to 15, they are all out, and the 16th picked Flames are in over all those teams. And on 15 and 16, the Jets and Flames both say they were picked 1.39%. So I don't know if they were both the same exactly, or the Jets had just a little bit more that they were put above the Flames. I'm not really sure. I think it's interesting that the lowest picked team is moving on to the second round. But considering the Canucks were 10th and they were who they were matched up against, I guess one of them had to move on, and it would be interesting either way. But they were just the bottom one, and they moved on, so I find that pretty interesting. And I also find it a little interesting that every year it seems like the President's Trophy winners are picked to win the Cup, and it hasn't happened in 20-ish years. So I think that's kind of interesting that happened. And not that they couldn't. I think they easily could. Will they? Don't know. I don't know if they win in the series against the Lightning in the conference finals, or if they would win against the Wild Ducks or Blackhawks in the final. I don't know. I don't see that just on the bracket. And I guess the last thing to mention, my friends that picked. Joel's rooting for the Rangers because of Stahl brothers or whatever. He's a Hurricanes fan. Good luck to him next season, but not this year. And Jeffrey's team, the Bruins, didn't make it either, but I believe he was rooting for the Capitals, if I remember off the top of my head. So they move on. Good luck to that. And on the bracket, they don't have you pick games played for the second amount. I thought that was a little odd, but I guess just because it's harder the farther you get in. But I will just go ahead and predict those for now. Now that we know who's actually in the second round, I'll have a new video for when the third round starts. But I believe the Wild will win in 7. I think that is going to be a super close series. You're going to have some overtimes. I can easily see the Blackhawks goalies just flopping. I thought that kind of at the start that the only way the Predators would win is if Rene just dominated Crawford or Darling in net, and that happened in both the games they won, but just not enough scoring to help. But I think the Wild can definitely take them. Could see it going either way, but I think the Wild will get it. And then Ducks and Flames. I thought the Ducks would win either way, either team that made it. I thought the Ducks would win. I actually think the Ducks probably have the easiest road to the final out of everybody. So if they don't make it, then they truly don't deserve to. But I feel like they should easily win. The only way I can really see it changing is if Jonas Hiller for the Flames, some rivalry going with the Ducks because he played there. Who just wants to outplay them and plays them unbelievable. The Flames defense just isn't the greatest, and offense is really good, but I don't know. I think the Ducks will take that one pretty easily. And we'll go back to the East. We're at Canadiens Lightning. Rematch from last year. I think the Canadiens are going to see a much different team than they did last playoffs. Sadly, they swept the Lightning last year, but with the worst backup in the league playing for us, or the third string goalie that was playing in the minors, I don't think the Lightning stood much of a chance last time. But this time, we have a healthy Bishop. I think probably just healthier all around. Just everybody, I believe, is back from injury. There might be one defenseman or so that was about to come back. I think he came back, actually, so I think they should be completely healthy. They dominated the Canadiens in the regular season, 4-0-0, I believe. So I don't really see that one being as hard as everybody says. Most of the predictions I've seen on Facebook and other social media says, that everybody's picking the Canadiens. Carey Price is awesome, don't get me wrong, but they're not playing against, the Senators. They're playing against the Lightning at the top offense, or at least they're supposed to. They didn't have it in the last round, but Stamkos and Kucherov haven't scored. They could easily get going again, and then they'll be on fire. And Carey Price isn't the best playoff goalie anyways. Their 6-game series, I can't necessarily say that they won because of him. He was good in maybe a couple of those, but he wasn't unbelievably great. He could be beaten. I think that will probably go to 6 games, and I think the Lightning will take it. Rangers Capitals. Now this one is probably the series I would question the most. Not even the Wild and Blackhawks. I think this was the most unpredictable series, just because they played against each other so many times. There's just a rivalry there, just a little bit, and I don't know. The Rangers didn't play as good in the first round as I would have thought. Yes, they won in 5 games, but like I said earlier, they were all super close games, one goal games. I think that, I don't know, I can see the Islanders taking a couple. I don't think they'll win, but I think they'll take a couple, maybe 2, maybe 3. So I'd say that this goes to 6 games, and the Rangers take it. See it going to 7, but I think the Rangers have it. I don't trust Holtby enough to say that he's going to beat Lundqvist. And then that would be Lightning Rangers in the conference finals if that went the way I thought. And then on the other side it would be Wild Ducks, just like I thought. So assuming it goes right the way I put it in the second round, for this at least, it would be accurate on my bracket. But I will update again. Like I said, I'll do another one when the conference finals start. Thanks for watching.